Welcome to this Vlog6 on the coaching process. Because this assignment was about reflecting and learning from my own coaching process, I had the following considerations. With more than 15 years of experience and minimal supervision, I wanted to reflect and learn the most from this assignment. So I decided to ask my athlete in which areas I could improve. I'd been coaching her on several other occasions, so she knew my coaching style. She specifically emphasized over-cueing technique aspects, which left her overwhelmed when performing. So I read Professor Wolf's excellent book on attentional focus, where internal cues are directed at specific movements, leading to slow, uncoordinated and staggered movements, whereas external cueing towards movement effect lead to more automated and well-coordinated unconscious movement. As cueing, either visually, kinesthetically, tactile or verbally, can aid the learning process of the athlete, I found this recommendation from Nick Winkelman, stating that cueing should be personal to the athlete, novel and concise. So I planned my session to reflect this and to focus on external cueing. Hopefully this should lead to better athlete success and a heightened learning process for myself. So I started telling the athlete the focus of the session. First, a mechanical approach in the warm-up to target and mobilize specific areas of her body that I knew needed it. Secondly, explaining that the workout would focus on the snatch, especially the catch position and the start position, as I knew these were her focus areas. The purpose of the explanations was to increase ownership in the athlete so she was motivated by the focus on her specific needs, and also to make it personally relevant for her. I started out making the same mistake as always of overcueing, explaining and talking too excessively. I left no room for the athlete's reflection to cope with, process and utilize the information I give so she could correct the movement she was supposed to do. Trying to get back on track, I had prepared a visual image cue to assist her in gaining a deep catch position in the snatch, cueing her to picture herself with the head over the edge of a barrel, then suddenly dropping as to hide. The athlete's response to the cue was, "Just pull the knee up." Though she gave herself an internal cue that possibly could disrupt the effect of the movement, the athlete took ownership. Spurred by my external cue, she suggested something that could work for her. The combination of my external cue and her own suggestion would cater to the effects focus and the personal direction of the cue. This could be valuable in teaching the complexity of weightlifting that has both mechanical and movement flow aspects. Working on the starting position for the athlete, I tried to use the metaphor of a gorilla sitting with long arms to promote relaxation in the athlete's shoulders, contrary to the retraction she often does. By this, my aim was to personalize the cue to this particular athlete. Then I purposely demonstrated how the starting position and subsequent execution of the first pull should look, to make this a visual cue in combination with the verbal image of the gorilla to further the learning by the athlete. So we kept on working with the starting position. The athlete needed reassuring that she was performing correctly. In hindsight, I should have done better in also telling her what she did right. A really valuable lesson for me, not only commenting on people's errors, but also giving them the credit when they do things right. I stopped the athlete doing the exercise when I noted she was overly conscious and directed her attention to the gorilla again. Now it was an angry gorilla, jumping up to protect the flock. This to promote her aggressiveness in pulling from the floor. The athlete's response was, "I don't need a gorilla to get angry." Again, the external cue spurred a personal emotional attachment in the athlete, possibly promoting more learning. So what did I learn? Cueing can be multifaceted to accommodate the athlete. By focusing on external cues, thereby movement effect in complex movements and personal relevance, learning could be enhanced. Combining different forms of cueing can benefit athlete ownership and motivation, whether it be external coach cues or internal athlete-suggested cues. Looking through the whole session, I realized that I never put my hands on the athlete to facilitate heightened kinesthetic awareness. This I will have to improve onward. The athlete reacted positively to this session and not being overwhelmed by info and cues. So my main take-home is not to flood with information, though this was a challenge for me during the session. I'm certain this reflection will make me a better coach going forward.